What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the absolute best show in all of pro wrestling, sports entertainment. You know what time it is. It is the Royal Rundown. Myself, SERG, VICENTE, and my sister from another Mr. right over here next to me, Miss Drede. Miss Drede, what it do?
Hey, family. Look, man, it's been too long, but I'm
Far too
happy.
long.
We are energized. We are back. It feels good. Surge. I mean,
You
come
know
on,
why we
man.
energized? Because they not like us. They not like
Eh.
us. They not like us. Hey, all them other networks that we used to be, yo, they not. No, I'm just bullshit. I'm playing.
Yo, it will
All love,
never.
all love. But I'll tell you one thing. Okay, so real quick before we jump into it, everybody who is watching right now live on the YouTube, thank you so much for watching live. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let everybody know about the absolute best show in all of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. Follow us on the interwebs, on the X, on the IG, on the LinkedIn, because hire us because we're dope, and all the other things that we have. So please go ahead and check us out there. Listen everywhere podcasting is available: Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and all those other fun places. And follow us
Not
at the
Stitcher.
Real Fight
Stitcher.
Podcast. Yes, we got it. We are here at the Real Fight Pod at Surgeries at the end. Miss Drade, as you see right there, at Miss Drade 20. At Miss Dre 20. I'm sorry. All right. We are going to go ahead and talk about today. Do a little rundown for you guys for the World Rundown. We have to talk about Backlash. We're going to go ahead and get you guys know about everything that's going on with Backlash, new champions that we have, the creative, what is going on and what we have been seeing in this new era, the Triple H era. We want to talk about Swerve and his house, or say Swerve and his championship. And then we are also going to go ahead and bring down the King of the Ring, one of my all-time favorite
And
favorite
Queen. And
King and
Queen.
Queen of the Rings. We're going to go ahead and discuss that as well. But before I get into all of that, this is a show about pro wrestling and sports entertainment, and there has been nothing more pro wrestling and sports entertainment this past week, to the point that one of the GOATs was brought up talking about some sweet chin music, none other than Shawn Michaels himself. But we are talking about Dre. I gotta ask you.
What?
There was the Royal Rundown, the WrestleMania of rap beefs. We had K Dot, and then we also had, Drizzy Drake. Dre, I have to ask you before we even jump into it. I gotta go ahead and Dre even got people in the comments screaming the name
What
already.
up?
Jesus.
I don't know. John, what
Uh,
up? Yo.
there we go. But I gotta ask you,
What's up?
what are your thoughts? We
Uh,
had this past weekend was nuts. Every
nuts.
time I felt like I wanted to put my head down, I couldn't. The Twitter sphere, it felt like prime Black Twitter. Is it just
It
me?
really did. It really did. It brought the feeling back. It really
It
felt
brought
like
it back.
2010,
Just
2009,
like
10
Triple H is
Twitter.
bringing that Attitude Era feeling back. It
Something
brought the
something's in the
feeling
air.
back.
Something's in the air, with the feeling being brought back into things. Things are being much more entertaining. Things are feeling authentic, even if they might not be, even if it's manufactured authenticity. Ooh, I just came up with something.
Possibly. Some
Stay
things could
there.
be manufactured or
Um,
manipulated even.
or manipulated even. But if you're asking me how I feel about the lovely Royal Rumble of rap beefs at the moment,
Yes. We're gonna give you yes.
um,
Please let
uh,
us know.
it's Kung Fu Kenny all day, every day. I mean, just
Yeah.
it is. And I was talking about this to some of my lovely students over at the schools that I work at, and I said, listen, and these are adults, by the way, so relax. Um,
Yes.
but I was just saying, like, yo, I'm Drake's demographic, right? When Drake first came out,
When he
I'm Dra-
first came out,
I'm Drake's demographic. We were young, freshly
we
out
on
of
the same
college
age. He's
educated,
his age.
freshly out, college educated,
Yes.
women, and
Yeah,
he was
you're right.
rapping
That
to
is
us.
yes. Yes.
And he was rapping to us. He was telling us that we were the best
Yes.
he's ever had. He was telling us he was so proud of us. He was it was he we were his demographic at first, but he made the cardinal mistake. The cardinal mistake. He's not the only one to ever make it, but he's probably the loudest one to ever make it. Um, he didn't grow up with us. He didn't grow up with us. He didn't evolve with us, and his music never matured. And
I'm so happy you're saying it, not me. Because if it was
I'll
me,
say
it'd
it.
just be like Serge, you being a hater. But I'm gonna
I
have my little POV in a second.
I don't care. I'll be call me a hater. I'm just saying what it is. And it's like, and there was a while there, there was a moment there where I was listening to a Drake album. I can't even tell you which one it was. And I was just kind of like, none of this is speaking to me. None of this is moving me. And I've outgrown this. And when I realized that I was no longer his demographic, his audience, um, no, it
Well, it's
was a
probably
marketing.
because you're not a
I'm not.
minor.
Very, very much so. But yeah, it's just not a fair fight, bruh. Like Kendrick Lamar, first of all, is some. This is also one of those really very basic things that Kendrick can do everything Drake does. Drake cannot do everything Kendrick can do,
Very true.
and
Very true.
that was made evident by the very, by Kendrick's last output in this lovely beef so far with They Not Like Us. Everyone asked for a club banger. I can't play this in the club. Okay, well, he gave you that. And now the song of the summer is going to be talking about Drake liking minors. It's insane. I just,
Insane.
we live in the upside down right now in a very strange place in the world, but Kung Fu Kenny takes it for me in this lovely Royal rundown of rap beefs.
I look, you so eloquently put. I have to say this. When it boils down to it, look, I haven't really enjoyed Drake's music since that first mixtape. What was that first mixtape called?
So
It
far
wasn't
gone, I
So
think.
Far Gone. Yo, beautiful piece of work.
Yes.
I listened to it till I couldn't listen to it no more. You know what I'm saying? It was incredible, and like you said, because we are that age that when he came out, we were all in college. So it's like his music was
Or coming out of
yeah,
college.
or coming out of college, one of the two. You know what I'm saying? In there, we was in that realm. Uh, I stayed a little longer than you did, so you know what I'm
Fair.
saying? Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, you said you was on that, that tight
4-year plan.
four. I
I
was
had a
not.
tight
Uh,
4 because my sister was right behind me. My dad said, "You have 4 years. Go."
yeah, yeah. Like I said, you was on
not,
that tight four.
not 4.5. Not
Yeah,
4.5. He
yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Go, go."
Yeah, no, 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 no. I was out there like Van Wilder ass. So when it boils down to it, like I was listening to him, it was great at that time. But like you said, it got to a point in time that I'm just like, and like you said, he was speaking to your demographic. He's speaking to you. He wasn't speaking to me, dudes who are
but he
from
was
Logan
kind of
Square, Humble Park originally.
But he was kind of like giving y'all game if you thought of like, he was
Trying to,
kind of like,
trying to.
a lot of dudes would, oh, the DJs knew, hey, let me play this, and
Yeah.
the girls get moving, and then
One
if
thing
and then
that as men we've always said is like, look, man, I might not listen to him when we got girls around. We're gonna put Drake on, right? That was always something that we did, right?
it's
Yeah,
smart.
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we enjoyed it, but it got to a point in time that I'm just like, he ain't talking to me, right? I'll never diss his skill set, but I never looked at him as like, look, I am a hip hop head to the point that my lady Tosh, the first lady of the Fight podcast, she said, you just like rapidy rap, just
Rappity
bars
rap.
and bars. And I do, but that's why the era I grew up in. I
Right.
love actual hip hop. I still to this day listen to Tribe Called Quest. My goal
Absolutely.
is under 3,000. You know what I'm saying? Like these are like, Outcasts and them. And again, speaking of Kung Fu Kenny, heavily impacted by Outcast, and you can tell,
My God.
So it's like when I heard everything he was coming out with and saying, it's just like Kendrick was that dude during the backpack era, also was the guy, Section 80 came out, and I started listening to that, and I was hooked. I'm like, yo, this dude's rapping like this is what I want, right?
Right.
It was artistic, it was insightful. All of those things that I look for in hip hop, it was revolutionary. Everything that I look for in hip hop is what he was giving me. Harkens back, like I said, to the Andre 3000s, to the Chuck D, and
The
individuals that
Rakims and
ilk.
yes.
Ilk, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it was just what I preferred, right? But when this brouhaha started coming out, I
Baruha.
sat back and I said, you know what? As a fan of professional wrestling, I want to see, because you know what? Just like in many matches, we can even look back. If you're looking at Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, sometimes the person you do not think is going to win all of a sudden does something, and they're going to end up being the face, right? The heel
Right.
turns to the face. So I was like, here, I am here to see. Do you like how I did that? I'm over here
I
mixing
saw you.
wrestling with the
I
beast. You know
seen
what I'm
you.
saying?
You was
I
looking
saw,
for a double turn,
you
and
know what I'm
and
saying? So I was
and
looking for.
and
So
it
I was
never happened.
intrigued. I was interested, and I was hopeful that that's what we were going to end up getting.
Right.
Yeah, but this kicks off, and obviously, you know, the first joint with Metro. And first of all, like the real winner in this, it has to be Metro, right? Metro, even in that little
A
BBL Drizzy, the
distrumental. The
BBL,
man created a distrumental,
the
and
instrument,
a
you
distrumental, and then has the world
hilarious.
writing lyrics to diss Drake to it.
I
Like,
can't hear you. Hold up. We gonna fix this. We gonna fix
uh-uh.
it. We gonna fix this. Where'd you go?
I don't know. Where'd
There
I
you go. Can
go?
you hear me?
I can.
Up,
I can
up,
totally
up.
hear you.
You
Uh-uh.
still don't hear me? We're gonna fix it.
No,
Hold
I
on.
can hear you. I can
Well,
hear
you hear
you.
me? I
Yes,
can't hear
very
you. Hold
much.
on. We're
Okay.
gonna figure it out. But you continue giving me an eloquent breakdown.
Oh, I was just simply saying that, Metro Boomin creating a distrumental. That is like the coolest term ever. I cannot take credit for that.
Huh?
I read that on the internet, but a distrumental is amazing, and the fact that the whole world is creating random lyrics in
You're
dis verses to it is great. So it's just amazing.
fantastic. Well, okay. So what I was getting at, because I honestly I lost it for a second. Also, I was trying to figure it out. But like you said, when it all came out, like you said, Metro, the track that he came out with, everything, the original one that we jumped into. But yo, Euphoria drops first, right? And that when it dropped, you text me right that day, sent me the link, and I'm like, yo, I was about to send it to you. So it's so dope. Quadruple entendres. Again, everything that we are looking for in a rap beef. But here's the thing that I want people to think about, right? And again, I know some of y'all don't know LA lingo and everything like that or hood lingo. He said this is a friendly fade. Friendly fade. That
Friendly.
means this is for the sport of it. You let it be safe, friendly. I'll keep it friendly. Now, here's the funny thing about it is also, do you remember Drake went from being like drop, 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 drop on push-ups, which it wasn't for me. It was again, it was very Drake-ish, right? It
Chop,
was very
chop,
dancing.
chop.
Yeah, it was very, like, but again, it's not my cup of tea. Not saying that it wasn't a thing, but it wasn't my cup of tea
Right.
with the music, right? So, but he has bars. I'm not gonna hate on the man. But you were begging the boogeyman to come out. You said his name 3 times, and guess what happened? The boogeyman dropped, right? He told you it was a friendly fade. You didn't listen. You went out there and continued. And he even said that after you mentioned the
Continue.
man's wife. Didn't you learn after Pusha T? Don't mention the man's wife. Don't mention his lady. Don't. So for me, after that, it's all fair game, right? Especially when you hear on the interwebs and on conversations that when it boils down to it, there was a conversation that was had, and it was told, "Don't you do that," and he did it anyway.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Allegedly. But again, these are got it on good sources. But
Here's
that
the
was supposed
thing.
to please,
You said this
and we'll
all
move
the
on
time.
after this.
The sport of it all, right? Hip hop is in
It's
essence a
full
lot.
contact sport.
There's a
Yes,
full contact sport,
full contact
and
sport.
of course, these days we have the element of the internet that is probably that's very different from folks of the past. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I am so grateful that when Pac and Biggie were going through their stuff, there was no internet because we
Oh
obviously
man.
see how bad that ended. Or when Nas and Jay Z had their joint, you know what I'm saying? Like we got that was kind of like the beginnings of the internet of like social media and stuff like that. So um, I just really feel like this is the best Drake's ever. This is the best Drake's rapped in at least a decade. And I'm being very nice when I say that.
Oh,
At
one
least a
thousand
decade.
percent.
This is the
But
best
he
he's
was
rapped in
forced
at
to
least a
rap.
decade.
Yes.
Um, and so
Yes.
the fact that we get a, co- a I was gonna say comparable Drake, but that's not true. A Drake at his best is good. You know what I mean? And then hopefully
Absolutely.
that raises the bar for every other artist kind of underneath
Yeah.
him, if that makes sense. Hopefully this just teaches that. Hopefully we get just better quality hip hop music from now on,
Yeah.
because now
And we stop getting culture vultures.
it should be a standard. It should be a standard. And like the thing about Drake, I think people get lost in Kendrick kind of like playing on his race or whatever, and him being biracial and stuff like that. I do want to touch on that a little bit. It's never that he had no business being a rapper or being in the culture because of that. It's the simple
He
fact that
never said anything about him being black. He never didn't
he
say he was black.
he it calling him a colonizer and all that jazz. People can easily confuse it for like a
Well,
race or a race.
and that means
But what I'm
people are
saying
easily
is,
dumb.
but that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a little deeper than that. It has more to do with him being not being his authentic self versus like he's not a gangster. So cut it out. Like cut it out.
Yep.
What we liked about what the demographic he was selling to at first, what we loved about Drake in the early years was
He's
that he
still
wasn't
selling to
those
that
things.
demographic. He's just selling to the exact same age of that demographic. He just ain't evolved with the rest of us.
Like,
It's-
yeah,
It is what it
yeah,
is.
that's it.
Look, so look, salute to both of them for giving us an extremely entertaining weekend. I think we could all sit down and say, look, Kendrick, K. Dot, Kung Fu Kenny, whatever you want to call them, put the yammers on them.
Thank you.
This wasn't a competition to begin with. Okay,
It was
I'm
a very
sorry,
unfair
it never
fight.
was. It was an
It was
unfair
such
fight.
an unfair fight.
Yeah, it was, Mike Tyson in his prime fighting some bum on the street. Like it really is. It's like it wasn't it. But regardless, they gave us some fun music. I got a damn Kendrick Lamar, EP out of it, which is amazing.
Just
Most
great.
music I've gotten from him in forever. It was great.
It's 2 years.
Um,
Mr. Big Step
it,
came
it's
out in
it,
20,
you
the
you
Mr.
know what I'm
Morale
saying?
came out in 22, I think. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the most beautiful thing is that this beef put that back in the Billboard 100.
My God, because everyone said, "Wait, let me hold on, back up." It's been a second since I've listened to you. Let me listen to you again.
Let me spin the block on this. Like Kendrick. Oh my God. Real last little thing. The way that Kendrick outmaneuvered that man. Ooh, like when he
Surgical,
dropped Family Ties or
surgical.
Family Matters, and that you can tell he thought that was going to be the atomic bomb. He had all them little YouTubers and OVO Mall and all them other fools out here, academics, posting pictures of nuclear bombs and everything online, and that got all kinds of stepped on. Literally, the big
Stepped on.
stripper came and stepped all over that 10 minutes later.
It was great.
It was great. It was great. Perfectly played. 616 in LA. Awesome track with the Al Green sample. Oh my God. Something
So
for you to
good.
ride to. Literally, Kendrick gave you, and that's the thing. And again, I keep on saying the last thing. Last thing I'll say about it. Drake gave you the same Drake each time. Kendrick gave you something different. He gave you an aggressive one like that. He gave you, saying the introspective quadruple entendres with Euphoria, and then he goes out there, gives you something to ride to with
616
616.
in
He
LA.
gave
Yep.
you a horror movie with Meet the Grams.
Meet the
That
Grams.
was terrifying with Meet the Grams, and then he jumps it out, finishes it off with the cookout anthem of the summer. We just in that joint,
We
what
just
I'm
elbows up,
saying?
just stepping,
Elbows up, just
just step,
all summer long. It's
just,
great.
just.
But all
That's
right.
it.
But that wasn't the only thing that happened this weekend.
No,
So much was going on. We had Canelo
no.
Alvarez boxing. We had, Inoue fighting on Sunday morning. We had a
Yes,
UFC 301. There was so much going on. But we're here to talk about today.
yes.
Today
The
is
grabs.
WWE Backlash.
That part.
Backlash was there in France, in Lyon, France, and
No, I
Lyon,
don't know how you say it. Sure.
Lyon of France, or Lyon, France, whatever they call it. But
Somebody tell
it
us
was,
how you pronounce it.
yes, whoever wants to let us know. Yes, Drake plus 20 Ghost Riders. Like you said, remember, Drake first said
Okay.
verse 1, and then Kendrick turned around and said, no, it's 1 verse 20. One guy looking at himself as the victim, the other guy's is taking the aggressive. I'm going with that guy all day. Let's go. Why would you mess with a little angry Gemini from Compton? I just don't
Like, why would you do this?
don't understand.
whose people are from
always the quiet one,
Chicago. Why would you do this?
whose parents are from Chicago.
Like, why would you do this
His people are our people, and we don't mess with them.
at
Come on
all?
now. All right. But so let me ask you this: what for you?
Yes.
The biggest takeaways from the Backlash. What would you say they are?
I'm gonna say that Backlash is no longer a pay-per-view to skip anymore.
No,
Like,
it is not. Puerto Rico
it's a
last year,
premium
France
live
this year.
event. We're two
Yeah,
for two for dope backlashes. Like, this was amazing. This crowd.
and
MVP. This is an MVP
salute to
crowd.
the crowd. I'll tell you one thing:
Just
Backlash is the event that they put on that the crowd is insane. That
yeah,
Puerto Rico crowd, that entrance with Bad Bunny, bam, 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 bam,
Benito
bam, 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 that comes on and he
still
comes
jamming.
in. I mean, I love that. To this day, it's one of the dopest entrances. But that was almost only superseded by this year and main event Jey Uso. Oh, with the Fireflies, come on, let's just go. Incredible.
Yo, I mean, I just it was a great show. It was fun to watch. It was just really fun wrestling show. That we know there wasn't no big surprises for real. I
Right.
do love the addition to the bloodline. Those of us who
Very
use
dope. Very, very dope.
the
Very dope
those of us
addition.
who remember Camacho. That's not his name, obviously. Remember when he was, when they made him a Mexican for a hot second when he was here before. But yeah, I love the addition of Tangaloa, as well as excuse me, as Tamatonga, and then
Yeah.
just the fact that Solo Sequoia is seemingly acting as if he's the head of the table. I'm not sure if that's been very clear yet, though, which I love. I do love that, and I love Paul Heyman just being confused about life and scared out of his mind.
He's like,
It
I
just
ain't talked to Roman in weeks. I don't know what's going on right
I
now.
love it.
I love it. I love
I
it.
also love that like this was just everybody. I think for the last several years has been wondering when the end of the Bloodline saga like is going. When is it going to get boring?
Never.
When is it over?
Never.
Everyone's been trying to end it for before it's done, and then they add another layer to it that is really interesting and fun to watch. So that's always dope. Jey Uso is a bona fide single star. Let's just talk about that.
Let's
He's
talk about it.
a
Let's
he
talk
is
about
a bona fide star, and like we need to get a title of some sort on him soon. I think he beats Logan Paul at some
it.
point, but we'll
Absolutely.
talk about that
They've
later, I'm
teased that a little bit. We
sure.
can talk about it. Yeah.
And then I mean, obviously my favorite part of the show.
Let's talk about these black women.
Obviously my favorite part of the show. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, your new women's tag team
Wait,
champions.
really
I
quick.
mean,
Can I get some credit, please?
you can.
Can I get some credit?
Yeah, here you go.
I have from the moment that they signed Jade Cargill,
He did
I
say
said what y'all need to do.
just put the tag titles on.
You need to put the tag titles on her and Bianca. I was like, because for any deficiency she still at this point in time has as a performer, you can hide her with Bianca, but then you have this new star, you put her with Bianca, and then just watch their
Yeah.
money. And you can actually bring prestige back to that title. You can make it important once again.
And I also we gotta give Asuka and
Kabuki Warriors
Kyrie,
are two of
yeah,
my
Asuka and Kyrie
favorite.
saying like
Incredible.
they were great champions. I mean, they were stuck in that damage control kind of like storyline for a little while, whatever. But great champions. And when I tell you they worked their butts off with Bianca and Jade, like they are they were the MVPs of that match in my personal opinion.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
and obviously Jade is still very green, but she's very good. And like I just want
Very.
people to remember, like she's only been wrestling for not like a
2
five couple
minutes.
2 seconds, and
Yes.
she's only been wrestling in the WWE system for less than a year. So you've got to give her some credit for being as good as she already is.
And
Just like
even
you said, I
that finisher
completely agree.
was
That
beautiful.
finisher was absolutely
Beautiful.
insane.
Yes.
Okay,
Look,
that was insane. That Jaded was ridiculous. And then on top of that, you throw Naomi in there with the big three. Like, come on. I mean, just
come
come
on.
on.
It's such an amazing thing to watch, and not just like like obviously black people, but black women have historically been shit on in professional wrestling
Correct.
all
Yes.
over the place.
Yeah.
So to
Yes.
be able to see these women getting the platform that they're getting, and not only just the platform, they're proving that they're the best. They're the best of the best, and they're going out there and they are bona fide superstars. The entrances, the costumes, the charisma that they have. It
Yes.
is everything that you want from professional wrestling, and you have to show them love. It is
And
a
you gotta,
beautiful thing to watch.
and just, I mean, we're talking WWE, but also shout out to Mercedes Monet and Willow Nightingale
1000%. Which I
And
am
Red Velvet and
heartbroken that she's not here for this.
Red
Heartbroken.
Velvet over at AEW, because all it's Queen Amanada as well.
Ooh,
Like it is,
yes,
like black women is outside in this lovely
they
wrestling
up.
game,
They're
killing it.
absolutely up
The
right now.
indies, they are all over. Shout out to, like,
Yes.
there's just so much going on um to pay attention to,
Yep.
but it is so cool to see. Like I know that black women that are like my age or younger, whatever, but like that have watched wrestling since we were kids, like this is a moment where we turn into little girls again, because we're just like, yes, like we only had Jacqueline and Jazz for so long, and then Alicia Fox a little later on after that, but like there was only not even a handful, and now you have more than two handfuls at this point now, and it's so just dope to see them, and it's so dope to see them get the correct level of spotlight. So like
Absolutely. Great
that is
point.
important,
Great
because they are
point.
stars. They are
Yes.
not. They're on the posters. They're on the
Yep.
advertisements.
Yep.
Like they are legit stars,
They're the featured talent. They are the
featured
main
talent.
attraction.
Yeah,
And
I
to
mean
be able to
Bailey's one of
see
the champions, and she can't even get on the poster. And I love Bailey. Like shout out to Bailey. She deserves to be on the poster. Like let's be clear.
Bailey
But
is
it's just
great.
like,
I really love Bailey. And you know what? I'm so happy that she has a title. Well deserving. Well
yeah, for sure.
deserving to have the title. But man, to see what they're doing, Bianca, and them and Naomi, it is just it feels special to watch.
It
And I'm
does.
really, really happy to see that now. Can we give some of the black guys some love? Actually, now
Okay,
I feel like
of course.
you know what I'm saying? Like I would love to get like Ricochet keep getting his ass whooped, but it seems like he's gonna get repackaged soon, which is great.
Yeah.
Granted, salutes for the speed title, whatever the hell that is. And then then
And that and that
also
and that ridiculous match last night on
oh,
Raw.
and you know what? It's
Him and that Dragonoff
yeah,
dude. That dude's
like
ridiculous. I'm not gonna Ilya Dragonoff.
I,
Is that how you say it? I think
Ilya,
that's how you say it.
Ilya.
Ilya. Got to
Yeah,
put the L
Ilya
in there. Okay.
Dragunov. Look, I
Crazy.
understand why they had to make him win because I can see what they want. They want to have him versus Gunther. I see it already, right? They want to have that in like the semifinals, which
That's
I'm
gonna
here
be
for.
I think JR
Bang.
would call that a slobber knocker. It's gonna be a
Oh,
slobber knocker.
slobber knocker, straight slobber knocker. Um, and don't get it twisted. I'm excited for that. I hate that Ricochet had to be the one to get sacrificed for that, but it seems like he's getting repackaged in a certain way. I'm very heartbroken that Montez Ford isn't getting any love yet. Like I don't, and Dawkins, I don't understand what's happening over there. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what's going on over there. But let's talk about. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I will say that the Pride looks really good right now. Like they look good. I feel like they finally kind of got the look
Yeah,
together, and
yeah,
the I'm not sure how I still feel about the group as a whole, but they're getting a look and a vibe and a feel that
they are. They
is
are.
getting a little bit more comfortable to me. And I do like
Which
that.
Carmelo Hayes also.
This whatever is happening between Bobby and Carmelo, like I'm invested. So I love
Oh
that
yeah.
too.
It
Um,
seems like he might be the X factor for them. If they end
yeah.
up linking up with Carmelo, he might end up being. But him coming out, getting drafted. Only other NXT person got drafted in that same position was Finn Balor, and right after Finn got drafted that high in the draft, a month and a half later, 2 months later,
He
he
won the
had the title around his
he had the
waist.
universal title. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do with him again. But let's talk about the most over person in the entire organization, and that is none other than the person that honestly, hey, I've been told y'all, he's the reason that really got me back into pro wrestling. Main event Jey Uso. Yo, Jey Uso is because here's the thing: when the Bloodline saga started, it was intriguing, right? But those matches that he had with Roman in the Thunderdome, that was the beginning of the bloodline. And seeing them and what he's evolved to now and the matches that he's put on, man, dude is so over. The Fireflies, the hands. He needs a belt. I don't understand. Like I see what they're doing, and you have to always walk me off a ledge because at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? You sit here and they got a baby face. You got to lose a million times before we give you something, which I think is dumb as hell. But that's, I guess, what they do.
Well, and also you have to remember that like wrestling psychology 101 is that you got to build um you have to build the audience so that they can root for them. So the best way to do that, just tried and
But
true,
but
long
yes,
and is that you build sympathy for the baby face so that when they do finally win, it's exactly what they just did with Sami Zayn. It's actually exactly what they just did with Sami Zayn.
which I believe and I understand, but it can also backfire. Hence, look at LA Knight. He is cooled off so much.
I think it's okay that he's cooled off, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
I think LA Knight's cooled off, and I think that's okay because
Okay.
we're working with an embarrassment of riches here.
Show
Everyone,
me.
the
Oh my God.
issue, and this is where I get, and this is why I always walk, folks in the our
And we getting
infamous
Uncle
group
Howdy
chat.
back.
So, like I said, we're working with a bunch of like a. That is the reason why I think they cooled him off. By the way, you're welcome. So, that's why.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that's why Paul Heyman confirms with her. I understand. I get it now.
no, I feel like we're working with an embarrassment of riches. You've got to. They have such a hard, and this is every wrestling company has this issue in terms of we want to have multiple storylines. You have to have them
Mhm.
moving, and you have to figure out not to have too many peaking at the same time. That one has to peak, some have to simmer for a little while, and then they can go. Like you have to really work on getting the levels right. LA
That's real.
Knight it's not going to be hard to warm LA Knight back up. It's not like people don't like him still. They still love him.
They love him. They
And
love
all
him.
so like that's not the issue. I think it's just that at this point there's other storylines that need to take a little bit more precedent. They need to be built a little bit more so that they peak at the right time, and then right when you least expect it, LA Knight's moment's going to happen. Ricochet's is already starting to bubble, right? There's and you have to remember the tiers. Like there's a tier system in terms of like how much time certain stories get and all this other stuff. I also, we have to remember this is not the WWE of old.
In trips we trust. You are
It is
so right.
not.
In trips
And
we trust.
we have very rarely been disappointed. We've had some things that maybe we've disagreed with, but we haven't been
Right.
fully
That's
disappointed.
real.
It wasn't
That's
like this
real.
thing was trash. It was like, oh, I would have done that differently, but it wasn't trash, right? Like it was just, and I'll take that in my wrestling. I don't have to agree with the booking. As long as it wasn't trash and the thing I watched was entertaining, I'm cool.
I hear you. No, it makes total sense. I love what they're doing with him. And really quick, before we continue, if you guys have an opportunity, you see the shirt that I'm rocking, you see the mugs that we have, mugs, shirts, everything. Check out Etsy.com/shop/the Fight Pod Shop. Do yourselves a favor. Go ahead and get yourself some merch. Please support the show. Love you guys. Like, share, and subscribe as well to this channel. Let everybody know about the best show in all of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. All right. Before we get up out of here,
I know. I sound like Kermit the Frog because my allergies are kicking my butt right now.
Okay. All right. So that was great. Like I said, the tag team match was fantastic. The right guy went over when it comes to the world championship match. The same thing with
Cody and AJ Styles put on a great match, G.
Cody and AJ Styles put on a great match. Honestly, one of
Buff
the better
AJ
matches
Styles.
that Cody. No, he looked like he ate AJ Styles. No, did he? Like it looks crazy, right? Like
And I believe he wore the gear. I'm not allegedly. He wore the
okay.
gear he wore when he wrestled Dusty Rhodes, because AJ Styles has
Ooh.
actually wrestled Dusty
Yes,
Rhodes
he has.
before.
Yes, he has. Oh man, that's
So
awesome. I
yeah,
love. That's one thing I love about pro wrestling is these little wrinkles. The little wrinkles that they do, and
the little Kendricks, the little K dots,
yes, the quadruple entendres.
K dot entendres.
Well, first of all, The fact that now I know for a fact that Kendrick Lamar is a pro wrestling fan makes me like him even more. When my man said, you know what I'm saying,
He dropped Shawn Michaels. He
music
switched
never
sweet
dropped,
chin music. Sweet
sweet
chin
chin
music.
music, and I never passed the aux. I was like, and
Everything
then
is
he
wrestling.
kicks and then he kicked it off even before that. Called Buddy a jabroni. I
He
was just
did.
like,
He did
oh,
call him a
Kendrick
jabroni.
definitely watches pro wrestling. I love this.
Yes.
All right,
Kendrick, you should like, share, and subscribe
you
on the
have to.
channel, bruh.
Like, share, yeah, straight up. Okay, come on, Kenny. I'm from Chicago. My parents,
You know what I'm
and I'm in
saying?
LA now. Come on, bro. What
We
it
got the
do?
connection, you know?
You know what I'm saying? Cop some merch. Oh my god, could you imagine seeing Kendrick Rocket in a fight podcast hoodie, bro? Y'all couldn't tell me nothing. I'd be in this
Couldn't,
mug.
not a single thing. Not a single thing.
All right. But that was fantastic. AJ Styles and Cody Cooked. We're seeing it now. Really quick, let's talk about this before we get out of here. The King of the Ring and Queen tournaments.
Yeah.
We have Gunther and Sheamus went out there and put on another banger.
Yeah.
They they are such a perfect match. Now, granted, y'all gonna have to let Sheamus win one of these eventually, but you know what I'm saying? You do. You have to, because
I don't know.
I'll be honest with you. You know how much I love Gunther. I all of my favorite people lose. I've seen Roman lose twice in the last year. Why can't I see Gunther lose?
He is hurt. You hear me? The pain from the two losses. No.
You know
Can
what
I
I'm
say
saying?
something?
Like,
I have to say something about Sheamus because I'm so happy he has his old theme music back. I don't even know what to do.
love it. I love it. Oh, I love it so much.
And I love all the fake, all the wrong
Burger
lyrics,
after burger.
like the wrong lyrics to it is hilarious. It's a shameful thing. Lobster head is hilarious. Because I don't know what he's saying in that song, but I be jamming too. um, but yeah, I just had to say that I like Sheamus. I have a funny Sheamus story from when I was
Get it
interning at
together.
NXT.
Yeah.
He was running out of a Whole Foods and he was trying to get away from someone who was obviously recognizing him. And if I did not look up when I did, I would have a funnier story because I would have been I'd be telling you the story of how Sheamus tackled me outside of a Whole Foods on accident. Shoulder tackled me on that, but I looked up just in time to step aside and see the pale man walk by me. And I looked and I said, I think that's Sheamus. And then I looked again. I said, that is absolutely Sheamus. And then the next day he came back in the Royal Rumble because he was hurt at that time. So it was very interesting.
And looking like Bebop himself. You knew that was him.
Dude, I mean, you can't miss super pale Irish man with the red hair, and he's like
And
huge,
gigantic.
and he's
Yes.
ginormous.
But I love what they're doing with that. I love again seeing CM Punk happy and cooking.
we have
Oh my
can
god.
we have not even talked about Chicago's very own
Yes.
looking fabulous. Like the man looks great. Can we just? He looks healthy, happy, moisturized, ready to go. Beat up Drew
Keep
McIntyre. It's
going.
gonna
I
be
hear you.
great. It's gonna be great. I'm really excited. That feud is fun, and I love that they're letting it simmer. I love that. I think it's gonna be in Scotland. I love that. I think that Drew is going to beat Punk, and I'm very interested to see what the character change in Punk is
Absolutely.
what that'll do if that changes his character or how they do it. If they give Drew a crew, even, um,
Which would be cool. Which would be really cool to
you know
see.
what I mean? Like, there's just so many. I love all of the aspects of that. Also, I know sometimes I've been guilty of thinking that Drew McIntyre is cool, but a little boring sometimes. That's over with. He has been
Oh,
quite
I mean, you
entertaining.
guys already know I was not a fan of Drew until this most recent iteration of him. This
Yeah,
version of him is so fun. The
so
internet
fun.
troll, the everything that he's doing there is it's just chef's kiss. It's really really great to watch. I
Agreed.
love every aspect of it. But salute to him. Obviously salute to everything that they're doing right now. I mean, truly, Trips is not missing. The WWE is not missing right now, and to be able to see how they're just continually just building and giving us more layers, and the the camera angles and the
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 production is
following
so
the ring walks and everything that they're showing
the
makes
living
this
promos,
so
like the
fun.
living promos behind, like someone is
Oh,
giving a promo while they're walking backstage, and then two
incredible.
like fan like just it's refreshing.
It is.
Wrestling can be very formulaic, and
Yeah.
it's been formulaic for generations at this
Yeah.
point, especially since
Yeah.
it's been on television. And they're doing some things production wise that are turning some of that stuff on its head. And it is
It feels fresh
so
and new.
fun to watch. It's so fun to watch. If you have
Yeah.
not watched wrestling in a long time, this is a perfect time to get back into it.
Perfect time. Perfect. I love it. All right, before we get out of here, gotta show some love. And granted, I'll be the first one to admit this gentleman has irritated me with some of his rhetoric at times. He has I have not been a fan of that, but one thing I've always been a fan of is his work in the ring, and that is Swerve Strickland. I mean, Swerve deserves this moment. Congratulations to him for winning that title. Is amazing to see. So regardless on anything, I'm not even bringing my man no shade in any capacity. Salute to him. Any thoughts on Swerve?
I'm very interested in his this lovely feud with him and Christian Cage. That should be really fun.
It should be fun. Oh, I
That should
love
be
it.
really
I'm
fun.
looking forward to it, and we'll discuss that. All right, guys, it's about all the time we got today.
That's
We
it,
want to
bruh.
just give you a little taste, bring you back. You know what I'm saying? But we will be doing this far more regularly. We will be back weekly and everything. Dre, before we get up out of here, anything you want to say? Any concern? Anything else you want to drop in here before we didn't get to?
I do want to drop a really small little thing. We definitely want to just drop a rest in peace to Trey from We Love Wrestling. He passed
Yes.
away a few weeks ago, and I was just really lucky to have just met the man a couple months
Oh,
ago. I did his show, and then also saw him briefly at the Chicago Windy City Riot show for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and just unfortunately, he passed away a few weeks ago. And just wanted to shout out to that because if I love wrestling, you love wrestling, we love wrestling, and just shout out to him and all of to his family. Just out to prayers to his family and friends and everybody close to him.
yeah.
Big loss in the wrestling world, big loss especially to the independent wrestling and just in wrestling media as well. He was a good dude. Like I said, I only got to speak to him a few times, but
Mhm.
he was a really good dude and was all about putting people on and being
Mhm.
very selfless about it. And so just got to give him his props and just give him that love. So
Yeah, salute to him. Salute to
yeah,
the I love wrestling, all that stuff. So I mean, it's heartbreaking. Hate that it happens, but salute to him for sure. All right. Uh, with that being said, like I said, it has been fun. We are back,
yes.
and do yourselves a favor, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow Miss Dre, at Miss Dre 20. Follow
That's
myself,
me on.
Vicente.
That's me
Like,
on
share,
the thing
subscribe.
that
Please listen to us everywhere. And like we said before, get yourself some merch. Etsy.com/shop slash Fight Pod Shop. Go ahead and get yourself some merch and mugs. We have hoodies. We have everything. Super, super dope. Go ahead and grab those today. All right. Kendrick Lamar won, folks. And somebody else was going to say before we get up out of here, we always going to leave you with some wise, very wise words from a hip hop legend himself, none other than the
Lord
Knicks
have
fan,
mercy.
and their boys is cooking, Joey
They
Crack.
are.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's price is not today's